appreciate the opportunity to come before you today and ask these questions and work with you on this very important subcommittee to the people here in Iowa's 1st District. So my questions today are for Dr. Ross. Thank you, Dr. Ross, for joining as well. I really appreciated your testimony earlier, truly about connecting transportation options with opportunity and how important that access and mobility is. It's an issue that everyday Iowans face in many of the rural communities that I represent. And in order for those communities to really grow and prosper, we have to be focusing on transportation infrastructure across all spectrums. So in many cases, the physical access that you were talking about translates directly to other types of access, as we've been discussing here on this meeting today: jobs, childcare, healthcare, opportunity. So my question today it ties back to the Office of Management and Budget and a recent proposed change that they've announced, Dr. Ross, that would actually change the definition of a metropolitan statistical area, MSA. Their proposal would raise the minimum population level to qualify as an MSA to 100,000 people. I'm actually coming to you today, participating in this hearing from Dubuque, which is in my district, but currently is considered an MSA. But has a population of 97,000, give or take. So it would lose its status under the current proposal, would seriously impact Dubuque's ability to get federal funding, federal resources for new businesses to the area, not to mention the transportation challenges. This would also impact 144 other cities across the country, including some communities in my fellow subcommittee members' districts, Congresswoman Wexton's and Congressman Trone's districts as well. So this impact will be felt across the country if this moves forward. So can you, Dr. Ross, speak a little bit to the shift of what this would look like for our communities, for the residents, and specifically tied back to the opportunities that you were talking about earlier connected to transportation?
Thank you, Representative Hinson, for the question. I would make a couple of observations. As you know, MSAs are the basis upon which federal dollars are allocated, on which planning takes place, which gives guidance to those places relative to transportation planning, both long and short term, aging services, water resources management. And depending upon where you look, a lot of resources and responsibility are large in the designation of being a metropolitan statistical area. And so, of course, as you also know, any change is an uphill lift. It is something that requires deliberation and a comprehensive assessment of who wins and who loses, the benefits and the cost. And so one of the things that I really think is important is to look at what the benefits and costs, the shifts might be, and to try to allay those, whether that means new policy, additional policies, reframing it, or trying to accommodate changes that would particularly hurt those communities. And I referenced those in my comments when I talked about sparse and not dense rural geographies, which are a continuing concern and have been forever as far as I'm concerned in the United States. So I guess what I would offer is that the change would also look at ways to alleviate what kinds of impacts this would have on communities, particularly those that are not Atlanta, Chicago, New York, California, other kinds of big cities where the transportation planning process has a large number of opportunities and access to resources.